Hi, it's me, Creative Katie Karen Burchill. Welcome to my channel, Mixed Media Creations. Follow me on all my social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, WordPress, and Pinterest. Just search for Creative Katie and you're sure to find me. If you wish to support my channel, you can shop through my Amazon influencer links or make a direct donation through my PayPal link. Both can be found in the description box below. Thank you so much. Hit the subscribe button, click on the bell, and select the option to be notified as soon as I upload a new video. You won't miss any that way. Today we have a quote journal tutorial. So you're looking at my quote journal that is a repurposed or upcycled old Happy Planner. This is the mini size, and I will put a link to the video series where I showed how I got these backgrounds pre-done. And the idea behind this is to have a quick fire quote journal where it doesn't take you hours to do a page, because for some of the pages they are pretty much done. All you need to do is really put on a quote and put on maybe a focal image. You can do them as much or as complicated as you want, or as simple as you want. I also have some just gessoed pages. If I have more time, I can start from scratch. This month, or for this first little while, I'm doing on the theme of change. So I've got my quotes for change, and these were the ones that I did in the first session. So I want to use this stencil. So this stencil is called Butterfly Reflections, and it's TCW 849. Before I do this, I'm thinking that I want to have some gold and I'm just spreading the acrylic paint . And I'm not trying to get it perfectly done. I just think that having the script in the back is going to work well with that stencil. So I am just arranging it. I'm avoiding the hole there and making decision here. And I'm just going to tape this down just to help myself. And I've kind of changed my mind again. I'm going to use the copper. I think it'll pop. I want it to stand out. I am loving their modeling pastes. There's something special about them. And to have the metallic modeling paste or black or all the colors is just, oh, awesome. Because if you know me, you know I like my bling. And if you mix copper paint with modeling paste, you lose the shimmer, which is not something I want to do. So there we have it. Yum. So I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to probably apply a heat tool to it, and we'll be back. Okay, so that is partially dry, and I put the heat tool a little close, and I kind of got a little bit of bubbling action, which, you know, you can do cautiously. I've cut out the quote here, and I think I'm going to put that there. I don't have, none of my other quotes really fit the space that I've been left with. So I'm going to glue that down. In retrospect, in hindsight, because of the delicate pattern that's here, I'm wishing that I didn't put the script stamp, but you know what? C'est la vie. Sometimes you win and sometimes you learn, and if you're not sure and you try it, like, this is the perfect place to try things out. That's what art journaling is for me. I love this quote. Nothing changes if nothing changes. You know. I'm just going to put that on here. Clean that off. And I'll give that a dry and come back. So even though I have a fairly dark background, I just feel the need to put black around the edge with my Stabilo all pencil. Be sure, if you're doing a quote journal or you're implementing any of the tricks that I'm teaching in here, please come and share in my Facebook group. I'd love, love, love to see what you're doing and hear about how things are going. If you're doing a quotes journal, what version of it you're doing, you know, come join the creationship there. I'd like my group to get a little bit more active, but you know, it's a work in process. That little bit of black, I just needed the black in the lettering. Just needed to finish it off. Okay, so I have these butterfly die cuts. I bought them at the dollar store, and you know, they come in a variety of sizes and shapes. There's brown, there's orange, there's pink, there's blue ones, and I bought a whole bunch of them. And I'm thinking that that one definitely goes there. What I'm going to do is just, since I have that idea, I'm just going to put this, actually it would go, no, kind of better on there, because you got that in the background. They're matching the focal points. Now, if you can see, they have a lot of white on the edge, and that bothers me. So what I'm doing is just getting out my cutting mat and my X-Acto knife, and I'm just cutting them, trimming that excess white off. Just like that. So that it's a little cleaner. Can you see the difference? I just don't like that. Alternatively, you can take an ink pad and, a sponge and dab it so that the edges are gone. So I'm just going to play with some of the colors. Now that one I really like. Okay, we've got pink here. Butterflies, automatically that speaks to me when it comes to change. They have these little ones, and I'm thinking I might use them because they're a little harder to use. If I do larger pages, you're gonna want the larger ones. And 3 always seems to be a great number, odds. Now down here, I've used the Sunburst stencil. This is the cookie and cake decorating stencil from the Crafters Workshop that's new, the winter of 2019, but they work well for this. They are food safe. If I'm using them in my art, I'm not going to use them in my baking, much to my husband's unhappiness. So I think what I'm going to do is we're just going to go with that. Now they're kind of shiny as well, but when I put a coat of the gel medium on it, that's going to get rid of that. Now I think I've taken, it looks like I've done, because sometimes I do a build your stash and I just come here and with my X-Acto knife and I cut off some of these. I pull out some and I've cut them off, or I've been auditioning them in other projects and then ended up not using them. These are a little thicker. They're kind of like a manila tag. And we have that pink in the background. So again, this is a quick, easy one. We have the Sunburst here, down here. That's in black modeling paste, so you've got some texture on that. And you know what? I think, again, these are quick fire quote journal. That's why you're doing the build a stash. You are getting done ahead of time a lot of the work, or breaking it up, so that when it comes to just assembling, you can focus on just having the joy. And I think I'm going to leave that in the format that it's in the square, but I am going to grab my archival ink here and I'm just going to edge it. I don't mind the white because there's white in the background and there's black on it, so that's why the edging. I might come back with my fine line bottle. I'm hoping to keep the quick fire quote journal videos real time so that you can see how long it takes, And I'm not too worried if I get a little bit of a smudge. I've learned to let go of those things, and actually I enjoy seeing them. It makes it somehow better. Used to really bother me. I'm also going to, since I have this out, just put a layer of it around the butterfly just to get, because right now they're just white edges, and perfectionism, a little bit, you know, we all have it, right? But I figure once you have this out, I mean, it doesn't, there's ink on this sponge already, fresh ink. And it is those finishing details sometimes that, you know, really take your page to a new depth. Now, you may not have the right same stencil, the same anything, but you can copy the composition. You know, have 3 small focal points, butterflies, what have you. Put a stencil in the corner, you know, kind of starburst. Come up with your own brand. Okay, so what I'm going to do, because this is disc bound journal, I can pull that out. So again, what I've done in one session, when I went through my magazines and in my stash of pictures and butterflies, I pulled colors that I looked at the color backgrounds, and I flipped through and I pulled colors and shapes that were typically going to fit. I may not have had a perfect idea of exactly if I was going to use it, and a lot of them are going to end up going back, but it gives me something to play with. And it also limits what I have to play with. So I'm going to make one of those things work with what I have. So again, I'm just going to set up this. I'm going to overlap the box so that kind of takes away from the boxiness. And I want the butterflies to kind of get some movement in here. I think I like that. So I'm going to move those off and put a coat of the gel medium. This is matte gel medium, which is what I use because I don't want it to shine. If I want, I do have gloss. Crafters Workshop has gloss medium as well. But I will save that for places that I know I want to get that finish. With gel medium, you might have to push it down a little bit. I know when I started, I did not like gel medium. It seemed, you know, but now it's just like I give it a little time. And if it goes over the edge, so be it. That's okay. So sometimes with focal points here, I'm using 3 littler ones, and that is filling up the page. So if you don't have bigger ones, go multiples. Where if it's a stamp or a die cut or like this or magazines, what have you. Okay, so we're going to hit it with the heat tool and let's come and finish it off. So now that that's all done, and since I have this out, I'm going to edge with the cut and dry foam. This is a Ranger cut and dry foam. It is, for this purpose, I find it does do a better job than makeup sponge. It lasts longer. If that matters, but you can use a makeup sponge. But I did try this, and so in these videos I'm going to, try to use different ways of doing the same thing, and then you can decide what works for you. We all have our favorites, our go-tos. This is a little tough on the edge of those. And again, I'm going around several times, building up to get the color that I like. If I want to be more subtle, I tend to do with the ink pad. If I want it darker, the Stabilo All Pencil seems to be, or the float technique. But I don't have my black paint out. So sometimes what I do is determined by what I have out. So it's good to have different tools in your toolkit. Okay, I think I want that box to be a little more brought out, so I am going to come in with the Stabilo. I haven't ruled out my fine line bottle yet either. Just needed a little more definition there, I felt. Just tweak it. Sometimes you can get by with just smudging the Stabilo All Pencil. Now if my background didn't have pink in it, I could splatter pink on it to tie in with the butterflies that I chose. So that's an option. Or I could have done stamping with that color. So there's an easy way of, making a background work with your focal point. And I just want a little bit more here, so coming in with the fine line bottle. It's a little bit tricky on this texture, but it's not bad. Again, practice. And I'm not trying to make it perfectly straight. Okay, and I think I'm going to do that around the box as well. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm just leaving a bit of a space, kind of making a border. So there are the two quick-fire quote journal pages that we just worked on together. Loving them. I'm just going to add them to the journal, and I'm liking how this has kind of that orange, salmon orange color, and it plays with this. So I'm going to put these pages back to back. I like something. I chose not to make these identical pages because I could have with the gel plate. I could have done the exact same stamping and had it as even one page where the quote would have been over both of them. But I chose to do different, but I like having, you know, something reading together. Just like here we have the pink and here we have the pink. Now this, you know, a teacup doesn't really go with the change quote. I mean, I could put that in there and it would totally, it could totally work. I'm thinking I might be able to find a different quote. And remember, I don't necessarily want all my change quotes together. This is going to sit on my counter like this. You know, it will stand, and I can have, you know, two quotes on both sides displayed for me to have. So I'll see you for the next quick fire quote journal.